you've restarted it.
I'm good.
Alright, so let's start off by telling me how many children you've had.
I have 2 biological boys and 3 adopted girls.
Okay, so which child will we be discussing the pregnancy of today?
Tyler.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we can start by, was it planned or was it a spontaneous pregnancy?
It wasn't really planned. Me and his dad had only been married for about 3 months. When I got pregnant.
Was it unwanted?
No, it wasn't unwanted. We were even though we weren't planning on having kids at that moment, we weren't trying to have kids, we were both happy and excited when we found out I was pregnant.
Okay. Well, can you describe, like, how the stages of from finding out that you were pregnant to, like, getting ready for it, how that went up until, like, I guess between you and Daddy, like, you could do what both of you guys were doing to get ready for the birth?
What do you mean, like my pregnancy itself, or what?
Well, I mean, like, what were things like you started doing? Did you like look to your mom for assistance, like, or advice on like what was to come, or did you read? Did you ask people like what was it going to be like?
No. I mean, I read some books, but with Granny, with them being foster parents, and I mean, I'd seen a lot of pregnancies and been around a lot of kids, and so I wasn't near as scared. I wasn't scared or worried. Your dad was a little bit scared because he had never been around kids.
Okay. So, like, how did your doctor's visits and stuff like that go once, now that you found out that you're pregnant? Did you immediately start going to, what is it? Is it monthly, visits or whatnot?
Yes, I think it was up to like the 1st of the 7th month. You went every month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you hit the 8th month part, or you hit 8 months, you start going every other week. And then in the 9th month, you go every week. Or at least that's what we did.
Okay. Was Daddy with you for most of them?
No. He went to the first one. He went to the one where we first heard your heartbeat. And he went to the sonogram.
Okay. The big, like, milestone ones.
Yes. The important ones.
Okay. Alright. Alright, well, let's get into, like, the later terms. Did you start, notice, like, what were some of the changes that happened that you weren't expecting during your pregnancy? Like, did you have any, like, super weird cravings or, like, change emotionally? Like, that, like, have, like, mood swings that were just outrageous out of nowhere? Anything like that?
No, didn't really have any of that. Not really. I didn't really have a lot of cravings. I had morning sickness for the first 3 months, which lasted all day. So, which stopped about the 4th month. But no craziness.
Okay. Well, let's get into the, like, actual labor and the, like, how all that went down. Like, where were you when you were the baby's coming?
Well, your original due date was February the 6th, and like, I guess starting in my 8th month of pregnancy, like, I started to swell up. Like, my feet would swell up so big it hurt to walk. And then in the 9th month, like, my hands would swell up, my feet. I mean, it was horrible. I was miserable. But I wasn't progressing. Like, it was, the due date was like there, and I wasn't showing any signs of being ready to deliver. So they at my last visit, they told me, it was like on a Thursday, and they said if I didn't go into labor before the 7th, then they were going to induce labor on the 7th.
Okay.
And so we got to the hospital about 5:30 that morning, and they induced labor. I got up to 4 centimeters dilated. Well, this was probably by 2 o'clock. I got up to 4 centimeters dilated, and then I just started going backwards. I went back down to 3. So then that's when they had to do an emergency C-section.
Okay. And did that go fairly by the books, or were there any complications or anything like that?
I know, like, where they cut me for the C-section. They ended up cutting me. You were so big that they couldn't get you out. So they ended up cutting me about another 3 inches. But I mean, as far as I know, everything else went just as normal as planned. I mean, it's one of those things you don't really, it's your first time ever doing, so you don't know when something's not right.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm assuming, who all was, with you there at the hospital?
My mom and dad, your daddy's mom and dad, Net was there, and Brandy was there.
Okay. I'm assuming everybody probably cried or got teary-eyed.
I don't...
You and your friends are all cryy.
I don't really remember, because, like, when they started sewing me back up, it was hard to breathe. And so they knocked me completely out. And so, I mean, I woke up in recovery like 6 hours later, maybe.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I just, like with Jacob, his was planned. And so I went in there, had the C-section. I was awake the whole time. I came out, and 30 minutes later, I had him.
Yeah.
Well, but with you, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had all seen you and, cooed over you and everything, and before I got you.
Okay. So were you on like a epidural or anything like that while you were going through the labor, or any kind of pain medicine?
I did have an epidural. But like my contractions, I mean, honestly, didn't hurt at all. But I only dilated to 4 centimeters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually had no pain when I was actually dilating. I mean, I did have a little bit of cramping, but that was it. It wasn't like horrible painful.
Okay. Did what was I just had it on the tip of my tongue. What I was gonna ask. So I'm assuming that like your water broke while you were there because they induced the labor.
Yeah, they broke my water.
Oh, okay. All right. So after the birth is done, what were like what was like the next step from like that to the following week, like the adjustment to now that there's a baby, like from hospital to home?
I mean, I guess because I've always been around babies, it wasn't. I mean, I knew what to do. So it was. I mean, it wasn't that weird to me. I mean, it was different being that it was now your child. But as far as, feedings and changing diapers and how to, give you a bath and all of that, I already knew how to do all of that. Your dad, on the other hand, he was scared to hold you.
Yeah, that sounds like him. And I'm assuming you were on maternity leave of some sort?
I was on 8 weeks maternity leave.
And you were able to return to that no problem after it happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
No troubles.
Well, is there anything else you would like to say regarding your birth? Anything like that? I mean, did you do like breastfeeding or bottle feeding?
No, you were bottle fed.
Okay.
The only other thing was like, when I was about 7.5 months pregnant, like I noticed my back hurting. I just assumed it was normal being your first pregnancy. I didn't realize something could be wrong, but I ended up having gallstones. Which,
did they have to do surgery to get rid of those?
Yes, when you were about 3 weeks old, I had to go into the hospital and have it removed.
And I bet that was probably worse than the birth.
It was. It definitely was.
Okay. Did you keep the placenta or did they get rid of it? How did that go?
We kept the placenta and ate it. Just kidding. No, we didn't keep the placenta.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, killed one. Well, I wouldn't have to judge you.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, if that's all, I believe that's all we need.
All right.